right, so use the factor theorem and synthetic division to decide whether the second polynomial is a factor of the first. So, hold on, I have a sticky note with the ones that I want to do. Okay. So number 10, x cubed plus 6x squared minus 2x minus 7, and we're given x plus 1. So we're deciding if it is a factor of the first. So you can, well, I would just use synthetic division personally, and plug it in and see if it comes out with a remainder of 0, then you know it's a factor. So we use the opposite sign when it's given to us like this, so -1, and then we have 1, 6, -2, -7. Bring down the 1, times -1 is -1, plus 6 is 5, times -1 is -5, minus 2 is -7, times -1 is +7, and minus 7 is 0. So that means that x plus 1 is a factor.
This stuff is like all the same.
Pretty much. It's just written like 82 different ways.
That almost makes it more confusing. But if you have our notes, it might not be right
now. Let's see.
Do you either book 2 or no?
I haven't decided yet. All right, 18, 2x cubed plus x plus 2, and the other one is also x plus 1. All right, so how do I set this one up?
-1 in the box. So you have 2, and then you'll have 0, and you have 1, and you have 2.
Yeah, so our squared term was missing, so that's why I had to put in the 0.
So you bring down the 2, and then it's negative, or 0 minus 2, -2, and then -2 times -1 is just 2. So it'll be 3, and then 2 minus 3, so -1. So x plus 1 is not a factor.
Yeah. So in this case, it was not a factor. In the other one, it was a factor. I'm really glad I just guessed on 2 problems and was really hoping for one of them to be a factor and one of them to not be.
It's cold. It's cold everywhere.
Yeah, my room's been very like back and forth today. There's been times when it's been like warm, and then other times when it's been like really cold.
Also, we didn't win.
I know.
Whoopsies.
I'll tell you about that in a second. Factor f of x into linear factors given that k is a 0. So basically we're given the 0, so we're going to plug that in, use synthetic division, and it's going to give us something like this that we would rewrite that either we'll be able to factor by hand, or we may have to use a quadratic formula to factor to find the other factors. But I think these ones are going to actually come out to be relatively nice. So number 22, f of x equals 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 5x plus 6, and we're told that k is equal to 1. So when it's written like that, we just copy it over.
So 1 in the box.
Yep.
2, -3, 5, and 6.
So bring down the 2. Times 1 is 2, minus 3 is -1, times 1 is -1, minus 5 is -6, times 1 is -6, and 0. So this is one of our zeros. Now, it told us that it was going to be, but obviously, always got to verify. So that means that x equals 1 is a 0. Now these want it written in linear factors, so that means I need to move this 1 over, so it's going to be x minus 1 equals 0 is the factor. So I have this one, so now I need to factor this part to see, like, get the rest of the factors. So this was a cubed term, so it's now squared. So 2x squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. So factors of negative 12 that add up to negative 1. Yeah, 3 and negative 4. So 2x squared minus 4x plus 3x minus 6. Or Ethan's other fancy way. So I'm taking out a 2x, so that gives me x minus 2. Take out a 3, x minus 2. So 2x plus 3 times x minus 2 equals 0. So then now the whole thing, we would have x minus 1, because we would bring that one down with it, times 2x plus 3 times x minus 2. I guess technically is equal to f of x. The equal to 0 part really is irrelevant, so I'm going to remove that. This more should be f of x equals.
I'm so nervous. Because Maddie isn't here, so I'm gonna have to play. There is no other option.
You was gonna play regardless.
No.
Oh, you afraid of starting?
I don't want to go out there at all.
Yeah, you afraid of starting.
Alright, another one of those. 26 f of x equals 8x cubed plus 50x squared plus 47x minus 15, okay, equals negative 5.
He's gonna make me do jump ball.
Alright, so we need to start out with synthetic. So
I don't like these ones.
negative 5, 8, 50, 47, negative 15. So bring down the 8 times 5 is, or negative 5 is negative 40, plus 50 is 10, times negative 5 is negative 50, plus 47 is negative 3, times negative 5 is 15, gives us 0. So then we know that's a 0, so that means when I move it over, x plus 5 is one of my factors. So then I have, this was a cube term, so it's now a squared term, so 8x squared plus 10x minus 3. So factors of negative 24 that give you 10.
Of what?
Oh, 12.
Factors of negative 24 that give you 10.
12 and -2.
Yeah, 12 and negative 2. So 8x squared minus 2x plus 12x minus 3. Take out a 2x, so that leaves you with 4x minus 1. Take out a 3, leaves you with 4x minus 1. So then we have 2x plus 3 times 4x minus 1, and then we can bring the x plus 5 down. So f of x equals that whole thing. All right, the next one say to list all possible rational zeros, find all rational zeros, so find which ones actually are, and then factor into its linear factors, so it'll look like this at the end. Number 40, f of x equals x cubed plus 5x squared plus 2x minus 8.
Did you see what soccer got? They look kind of cool.
Yeah, I saw them. All right, so we're using the rational zeros theorem. So we're doing P over Q. So P is this term getting put over this term. So it's going to be plus or minus 8 over plus or minus 1. And we do the factors of them. If you've never seen this before.
I don't think so.
It's how you find all the possible zeros.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay. It normally, if there's another number, it looks a little different. But since it's just over 1, I'm just going to write the factors of 8. So plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 4, and plus or minus 8.
Yeah, we did this different, so.
You're welcome to do it however you already know how to do it. This is the way that the Algebra 2 and the pre-cal book teach it here. So then you graph the function to find which ones you think are possible, or like which ones could be. So
But we gotta do like, cause,
you have to check them after.
yeah, we gotta divide, do like every single one.
I don't do every single one because I've had several that have had like 20 of these.
Yeah, we still had to do every single one.
No. Graph it on calculator and guess.
We weren't allowed to use calculators.
That's unfortunate.
I need to find mine.
Yes, you do.
I don't know where it is.
All right, well, I'll just do it up here. So we plug in the function. So we get x cubed plus 5x squared plus 2x minus 8. Graph it.
6. Right?
Yeah, so we're looking at where it appears to cross. So it looks like it crosses at 1, 2, 3, 4. -4 would be a possible one. -2 looks like it could be one. And +1 looks like it could be one. So those are the 3 that we're going to check. So you don't have to use 82 pieces of paper. Of course you don't. What's new?
Oh, nothing.
All right, so we're going to use these. So -4. Once you find one that works, then you can keep going with the reduced form. You don't have to like start at the beginning every time. So 1, 5, 2, -8. So bring down the 1 times -4 is -4. Plus 5 is 1
This one
times,
works.
huh?
It works.
Times -4 is -4. Plus 2 is -2. +8, 0. So then that means that x plus 4 is one of our factors. Because remember, we have to move it over. So then you have a couple options. Now that this is x squared plus x minus 2, you can either just factor this yourself, like you would normally factor, or you can do more synthetic. If it's something this simple, I would honestly just factor it. So factors of -2 that give you 1.
2 and 1.
So +2 and -1. So x plus 2 is x minus 1. And if that means that when we would set these equal to 0, it would be x equals -2, which is one that we thought, and x equals 1, which is another one that we thought. So our linear factorization would be f of x equals x plus 4 times x plus 2 times x minus 1. Or you could have used this reduced form and done another set of synthetic and just kept working your way down until you were done. But this is a lot easier than that. 44, I may not actually go all the way out, but I am at least going to set it up for you. F of x equals 15x cubed plus 61x squared plus 2x minus 8. So we need to find the possible zeros first. So we're going to do 8 over 15 plus or minus 8 over plus or minus 15. So factors of 8 plus or minus 1, 2, 4, 8. 15 would be plus or minus 1, 3, 5, and 15. So then our options, we have to write out what all of our options are. So it would be, I'm going to do all of them over 1 first. So 1, 2, 4, 8. Then I'm going to do them over 3. So 1/3, 1/5, 1/15. So I'm going to do them over 5. Or, well, I just did the ones over. Okay, 2's over 3. So 2/3, 2/5, 2/15.
You did it weird.
I know, it's not the order I normally go in. I just did it. I don't know. It's, as long as you have them all.
8 over 3, 8 over 5, and 8 over 15.
Yeah, I haven't done the 4 one yet, though.
Oh, yeah, you have it. That's right.
So 4 over 3, 4 over 5, and 4 over 15. And then 8 over 3, 8 over 5, 8 over 15. If we had had any that repeated, we wouldn't write them more than once. So, see, Ethan, this is where I would not want to do synthetic for all of these.
We still had to do it regardless.
That's stupid.
That's crazy.
We had to do that.
That's crazy. Because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's 32 sets of synthetic division.
Yep.
That's awful. Absolutely not.
32.
Because there's 16 times 2 because it's positive and negative. So I'm going to graph it again.
Jeez, I'm not doing that.
So
Oh,
15x cubed plus 61x squared plus 2x minus 8. Oh, that's all in the... Okay, that's great.
she was in surgery, I think. Poor thing. She's like freaked out.
You just keep it.
Oh.
Alright,
What's
so
one of the fractions?
I'm going to attempt to zoom in a little bit here so that you can see because there's so many little fractions going on.
That is hard to see.
Alright, so I've got one that appears to be at negative 1, 2, 3, 4. So at negative 4, it appears that there's 1. So I'm going to check that one. This one here appears to be maybe about 1/3 of the way between. And check negative 1/3. And I guess that's all the way over to 1. Seems like a bigger gap than the rest of them, but maybe not. I don't know. Probably positive 1/3 then. So I'm going to start with the whole number 1 because I think it'll make it easier. So negative 4, 15, 61, 2, negative 8. So negative 60, it's 1, negative 4, negative 2, 8. So x plus 4 is one of my factors. So I now have 15x squared plus x minus 2. So factors of negative 30 that add up to 1. If there's
Oh. What did I thought about that?
so 15x squared minus 5x plus 6x minus 2. So that's take out a 5x, 3x minus 1, take out a 3, or wait, nope, take out a 2, not a 3. 3x minus 1. So 5x plus 2 and 3x minus 1. So that says that if we wanted to know if our numbers that we guessed were right, we could set each of them equal to 0. So that would say that x is equal to negative 2/5, which was one that we could have had. And then the other one would be that x is equal to positive 1/3. So these are our factors. And then we need to add on the x plus 4 one. So x plus 4 times 5x plus 2 times 3x minus 1. So that would be the factorization of that.
That's good. I think I understand that.
All right, the last thing say to find a polynomial function of least degree having only real coefficients in the zeros as given. Assume the multiplicity is 1 unless otherwise stated. So this is where we have to remember, let's go find it, conjugate zeros theorem. If a plus bi, or even if you just had like bi, is a 0, then the a minus bi or minus bi is also a 0. So it may give you both, it may not. So if it doesn't give you both, you've got to make sure you remember to write the other one. So 62, we've got 7 minus 2i and 7 plus 2i. So this one already gives you both, so you don't have to write them in. So treat this as these are the zeros. So this is x is equal to 7 minus 2i, and this is x is equal to 7 plus 2i. So we need to get it in the factors, so we need to move this stuff over. So x minus 7 plus 2i equals 0. And x minus 7 minus 2i equals 0. And then we're going to multiply these times each other. So f of x equals x minus 7 plus 2i times x minus 7 minus 2i. So I've got basically superfoiling. So I've got x squared minus 7x minus 2ix minus 7x plus 49 plus 14i, then plus 2ix minus 14i minus 4i squared. I squared is what?
-1.
So I'm going to change this to plus 4. So then I'm going to cancel anything that can cancel. So minus 2ix cancels with the positive 1. 14 i's cancel. So basically, you want to get rid of all the i's. That's what should happen when you do this. So then simplifying it, f of x equals x squared minus 14x
Plus 53.
plus 53.
You know what?
What's that?
Never mind. I forgot. Doing another one of those.
One more. And that's the last thing we're doing.
Wait,
68.
Are we gonna have 3.3 homework and the quiz technically then? Homework will be due Monday night.
I mean, I'll probably just make it all due Tuesday, but mainly doing that so that
I
you
don't
don't
wait till Sunday.
wait. All right, 3 plus 2i, negative 1, and 2. So if 3 plus 2i is a 0, what also must be a 0? 3 minus 2i. So imagine this as x equals each of these, so we're moving them all over. So x minus 3 minus 2i equals 0. Or here, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to make them factors. Add the 1 over, x plus 1, subtract the 2, x minus 2, and then subtract the 3, add the 2i, so x minus 3 plus 2i. I would put the i's ones together and multiply those, and then multiply the x plus 1 and the x minus 2 together. And then you'll ultimately have to multiply everything together after that, but all right, so superfoiling, we've got x squared minus 3x plus 2ix minus 3x plus 9 minus 6i minus 2ix plus 6i minus 4i squared, which would just be plus 4. I'm just going to bracket that off for the moment. X plus 1 times x minus 2 would be x squared. What is that? Minus x minus 2, I think. So then to cancel stuff, 2ix's cancel, 6i's cancel. So we have x squared minus 6x plus 13, and that's getting multiplied by x squared minus x minus 2. So then superfoil again. X to the 4th minus x cubed minus 2x squared minus 6x cubed plus 6x squared plus 12x plus 13x squared minus 13x minus 26. And then you just need to combine stuff. So x to the 4th minus 7x cubed. I'm just going to cross them out as I do them so that I can make sure I get everything. 4x squared, 17x squared, minus x minus 26. Is that what y'all got?
Where did you get?
Where'd I get what? All right, so then your problems to do are $13, $25, $43, and 67. I'm gonna be nice since you have a quiz too.